Hello and welcome to this tutorial from Rusty Mango Design. In this tutorial we're going to look at the plugins on a WordPress website, how to update them, and also how to troubleshoot when some of the plugins clash with one another. As you can see here, I'm on the dashboard of a WordPress website, and first of all I'm going to show you how to update the website plugins so that you've got the latest versions at all times. There's two places you can look for your updates. Over here, just under the word dashboard, you'll see updates, and it'll actually tell you in a little circle next to them how many updates you need. And at the very top of your screen, there's also an update button. I'm going to click on that one, and it'll take us through to the update screen. Now, there's just been a new WordPress update, that is the WordPress core has been updated, so I'm going to update that first. And you'll see, being so important, it comes up here at the very top of the screen. To update your version of WordPress, don't worry about going to download, just click on Update Now. Your website will go off to the WordPress server, it will grab the files, and it will update your website with the very latest. Now, explaining why it's important to update the WordPress core, security breaches are found in WordPress from time to time. Hackers find their way around different things, and as soon as the makers of WordPress find out about those things, they block them off, and then they put out a WordPress core update. The other thing they do is they also update how WordPress actually works, and they add new features to it. So it's always important to get the latest WordPress version on your website. Now, as soon as you update the core, you'll notice that some of your plugins will also need to be updated because the people who made those are changing their plugins to match the new WordPress. It's all about security, it's all about updates, it's all about getting the latest features. Now here we are, we've got the latest version of WordPress. In this case, it's WordPress 4.7. Now I'm going to go back to that same screen again, the update screen. Click on the button at the top. At the top of the screen it'll tell me I've got the latest version now. You have the latest version of WordPress. And all of these updates down here, all of these plugins need an update. So I'm going to just go select all, and once again click on Update Plugins. Now if you're cautious and you want to back up your WordPress first, use your backup plugin. I've already done that on this site, so I'm going to go straight to Update Plugins. Same process happens here. It goes to a separate screen, and you'll notice over the next few seconds it will go through those 8 updates and apply the new updates for them. Some updates take longer than others depending on the file size that they have to grab off the server. We're clicking through them nicely here. And the final thing I do, once I've got the updates done, I go and check if the site's working, and that's where your backup comes in handy. If something crashes on your website, you'll see we've got all of our updates done now. If something crashes on your website, it's always important to have that backup done. Let's go and check out the website and ensure that everything is working the way it should. If you've got a cache program in place, it should take into account the new update straight away, and there is our website. So everything's working fine. Let's go back to our dashboard. So our website is updated to the latest version of the core and its plugins. What I want to look at now is the plugin screen itself. It's on the main menu here. I'll just click on there. And this brings up all the plugins that are used on this particular website. Now sometimes you'll put in a new plugin and it will stop something else working, or the new plugin might not work. And what could be happening there is that two plugins are clashing with one another. And the easiest way to check for that is leave the new plugin on and come into this screen here and deactivate the plugin. You just click on that button that says deactivate. In a second it'll come up and say that that plugin is turned off. Okay, it says I have to click there to activate it, so it's not being used. And then I go and check to see if the new plugin that I've added has started working. Okay, if it didn't make any difference with that one, I'll turn that plugin back on and I go to the next one. Now the cool thing about WordPress is even though you're deactivating these plugins, it keeps all the settings in the back end. Okay, so you're not losing any settings that you might have done with a particular plugin. You deactivate that plugin, it keeps the settings for the next time that you turn it back on. Okay, so I've turned this one off. I'll go and check my new plugin. It might be a new button over here. It might be a item that appears on the screen of your website. Go and check those things, and it's basically trial and error. What you're doing here is you're deactivating and activating plugins to see which ones are clashing. And of course, if you decide that you don't want some plugins, for example, I don't want to use a plugin called custom sidebars, first of all I have to deactivate it. And you'll notice it comes up here in a new little item. I can now also have a go at the delete button, which has appeared next to it, and I can delete it. I'm not going to delete it because I still need that one. Alright, but if you don't need a particular plugin, get rid of it. If you're not using it, delete it. Why do I say that? Because the more plugins that you have on your server, even if you're not using them, even if they're deactivated, the more that you have on your server, the more chance a hacker, if they come looking at a website, can find a way in. Plugins are great. You can use plugins to do all sorts of things with WordPress, but they also open up little side doors that hackers can get into. And that's why in a previous tutorial I've talked about loading up WordFence, and you'll see it's on this website here. WordFence is another line of defense against those hackers having a go at your website. And that's all about plugins. If you have any questions, drop by my website at rustymangodesign.com.au and send me an email.